Good evening. This is Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. And as I said last week, we are doing canto number 8 of Paradiso. Today is the 10th of December 2023, and it's 9:05 p.m. here in Melbourne, and I intend to finish at 10:10. Tonight is a bit easier than last week, so I think, but then you never know. Because with Dante and his work to deal with the afterlife, in other words, with Paradiso, it's a difficult area because it touches on theology and philosophy. In other words, what is good for humanity and how we can contribute as individuals depends very much on the nature that we were born with. We were born with particular leanings. And where did this come from? Well, it did come from the breath of God once he created Adam, because Adam was the first human, but he was not born out of, a mother. God created him directly, and he said, and then he blew into him a particular leaning. What are you going to do? You're going to follow me, God, and if you do, then you'll be able to. You'll stay in paradise. But he didn't explain it. He just did it. However, then he proceeded to create Eve through Adam. And then, of course, there was the disobedience to God's will. And as a result of that, Adam and Eve and all of humanity was thrown out of the earthly paradise. And from then on, they were distanced from God for a long, long time, until God changed his mind and said, oh, I better forgive them, but I don't really want to forgive them. I'm going to send them my son, and he's going to atone for this bad human nature, because once that happens, then he can come back here, and those people who deserve it will be able to come back into paradise and see me once again. So that's my explanation of it. But Canto 8 really deals with God's providence. In other words, his generosity, all the good things that he wanted us to have. And that's important to remember, that when we read Paradiso, that we're dealing with theological questions here about the nature of God. But we don't have that God-like quality to be able to judge him. It's not part of our makeup. So, as I said last time, God does what God does, and it's unquestioned. As a result of that, too, then Dante tries to think about the way government works on earth, good government. So in other words, the spiritual part was given to the Pope, and the material part to the Emperor. They both represented God on earth. However, because of Constantine and the legacy that I think, the church was given pieces of land when Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire. So from that point onwards, then government corruption became part of the church, of the Christian church, because then they had to deal with the material, which belonged by right to the emperor to manage. But once the Pope got his finger in the material part, then he could not concentrate fully on the spiritual. And it's basically, Canto 8. Canto 8 is very interesting. We got from Mercury, il prossimo cielo, il cielo di Venere. Okay? So, il cielo di Venere, we better, in Canto 8, I'm going to do my usual reading of notes here relating to Canto 8. Here we go. And let's not forget that after this, I also, today, I'm going to do a poem by Tom Padula and one by Francesco Petrarca. Maybe we'll put Francesco Petrarca first because he actually, went, in terms of importance, straight after Dante in Italian history and literature. What else is there? There are also 3 more songs. That should bring us to the time when I finish. So let's go. And if you have the Divine Comedy, Paradiso, in front of you, open it up at Canto 8. You can also do that on your phone. If you say Canto 8, go to Google, Canto 8, Dante Alighieri, it might come up and it'll make it easier for you to follow me. So I have the books there at Insegna, but people haven't come to pick them up. So, a lot of people said, oh, well, never mind, But I want you to follow what I'm saying and the explanations that I give. Some of them may be right, some of them, it's an explanation. So here we go. Let's have a look. We are in the cielo di Venere, okay? So here we've got creation, earthly and heavenly. The themes are earthly and heavenly justice, creation and God's providence, God's character and will, vision, knowledge and pursuit of God, language and, Dante and Beatrice now send to Venus, which has long been associated with love. Swiftly moving souls approach Dante, delighted to hear what he has to say. One of these souls reveals himself to be Charles Martel, or Carlo Martello, Angioino. He was from the Angioino family, and he was a good guy, but both his father and his son were not very good at all. Who had once been Dante's close friend, because Charles Martel became king and he visited Florence. They had a meeting. Dante met him there, and they struck a bit of a friendship. So when Martel talks about the decline of character in his family line, Dante is prompted to wonder why people's attributes vary so widely. Why is it that in the same family you get some really good people and then some really bad ones? Or they do the wrong thing? Why is it? What is it with this diversity? Venus, the third heavenly sphere, has traditionally been associated with love's irresistible influence. So when you look at, say, in Greek mythology and Roman, the Roman gods, Venus was to do with earthly love. But Dante, being Christian, he expands on this image of Venus. He says, well, for him, Venus is associated with all our natural inclinations for good, not for bad, for good, which human beings are free to use or resist as they will. So we can use our inclination to put them to good use. Just as Justinian talks of justice prompted theological questions, Charles Martel's discussion of various human attributes prompts Dante to consider God's providence, in other words, his generosity. He's not only just, he's also merciful and shows great generosity. Again, all these are very important attributes, relating to justice, providence. Balancing this off is very difficult. Charles Martel explained that God's providence works through creation in various ways. So, diversity. If this were not true, then the cosmos would be chaotic. So everything is placed in the right place. It's like in a home. If you put everything in the right place, you'll always find them there. But if you just let it go and, that's what I like doing. Leave it there, don't worry about it. Next time you come around and it's still there, you know what I mean? But it's no good because it's, if you actually put them in the right places and someone else comes in, they'll see the order. Order is important. He notes that the stars are moved by angelic powers. Similarly, people on earth are directed by their souls, which in turn are moved by the stars. Our souls are moved by the stars. That's interesting. Are designed to fulfill different roles and duties. If we all did the same thing, it wouldn't be the world as we know it. It would be a very different world. If human beings adhered more closely to nature's imprint of them in the soul, they would be better off all around. Welcome to Gino Cannataro. It's good. However, this is Canto 8 of Paradiso by Dante Alighieri. However, people tend to force themselves into roles to which they are unsuited. For example, my inclinations is towards languages, books, writing. The garden, not my thing, you know what I mean? It's cooking, getting there, but not really to the same extent I got to any length when it comes to what I want to do. And the same with, say, somebody who likes to cut meat, that becomes a butcher. Somebody else wants to run a big furniture shop. So everyone has got some very special talent. If we can identify the talent you have within yourself, within ourselves, and put it to good use, then our society will be better off. So, however, people tend to force themselves into roles to which they are unsuited, like making a king of someone who should preach. Instead of him preaching, you make him a king. So, not really a good idea. And this leads to much needless upheaval, chaos. The opening lines of Paradiso, as well as Beatrice's discussion of the moon in Canto 2, have hinted at the doctrine of providence. It's a doctrine of providence by God. Who is our God? What does he stand for? Martel expands on it here. Basically, God provides for humanity by working through a variety of indirect means. This results in, among other things, wide differentiation among humanities, though coming from God, these indirect powers are all meant to direct people back towards union with God. So in other words, he gives all these directives, but even the negative ones, which may appear negative, they all redirect humans towards him. Now, the ones who don't follow this will end up in the inferno. For ideal harmony within oneself and society, people should cooperate with God's providential working. So these are the notes for today in terms of Canto 8 Now, I'll go to the actual canto and read it, because that's just the generic sort of notes that I've picked up, and they're very good, so why not use them? Now, before I start, I need a bit of a drink here, even though it's late. By the way, before I start, I did go away for the week. I was away from Tuesday till Saturday, and I didn't do the French and world history, Italian and Spanish lessons, which will come on this week. Okay, on Tuesday, on Thursday, Friday and Saturday. So I'm hoping to get those done and then continue with Dante's Canto 9 next Sunday. But next Sunday I won't be here either, because I'll be going away to pick up cherries. So Dante's going to miss out. Oh well, never mind. It'll be the week after. After that, close to Christmas, which will be all right. Okay, what else did I have in mind? That's it. I wish my sister Antonietta speedy recovery, etc., etc. May the good Lord look after you, eh? Ok, canto 8. Solea creder lo mondo in suo pericolo, che la bella Ciprigna il folle amore raggiasse, volta nel terzo epiciclo. Perché non pur a lei facevano onore di sacrificio e di votivo grido le genti antiche nell'antico errore. Ma Dione onoravano e Cupido, quella per madre sua, questo per figlio, e dicevano che sedette in grembo a Dido. E da costei a un dio principio pigliavano il vocabolo della stella, che il sol vagheggia or da coppa or da ciglio. Now, unless you read the notes here, it's going to be a bit difficult. Now, what he's talking about, basically, Dione was figlia dell'Oceano e di Teti, madre di Venera. Dido, celebre personaggio del poema virgiliano. And then Cupido was Ascanio, figlio di Enea. So in other words, you've got to go back into the mythology and the ancient believers in Venus, because Venus was regarded as the goddess of love, and Cupid, attraction, etc. But what was missing from them, l'antica, the old wise, was that Christian value to do with Venera looked at in the Dante's way. So not just physical, but also as an important part of God's overall mental of his own nature. Because there is also, apart from justice, there's also this idea of providence. So these are the notes that one needs. For example, da ciglio, I'll just read this bit here, coppa, e da Venere, dal cui nome io inizio questo canto, le genti antiche traevano il nome del pianeta, stelle che il sole contempla, guardandolo ora dalla nuca, coppa, ora dal viso ciglio. So the planet of Venus in the evening shows the back of the sun, in the morning shows the front. So in other words, it's sort of, like people in love, this sort of not really steady, if you know what I mean. It's not one thing, it's one and the other. And so this idea of providence applies to God. So let's go on. Io non m'accorsi del salire in ella, In other words, he was not aware that he had gone from Mercury into Venus, in the cielo di Venere. Io non m'accorsi del segno di ella, ma d'esservi entro mi fe assai fede, la donna mia chi vide far più bella. So when he was looking at Beatrice, she looked even more radiant than before. And it was, that's when he realized that he had gone up. E come in fiamma favilla si vede, e come in voce si discerne, quando uno è fermo e altre va e riede, v'Iddio in essa luce, altre lucerne, muoversi in giro più e men correnti, al modo, credo, di lor viste interne. So, when Dante goes up into Venus, which is another cielo, okay, another part of paradise, he sees Beatrice looking radiant, but besides her, there's a whole host of other spirits that are also very much in the light of the day of Venus. Erano raggianti, and they wanted to talk to him, of course, because he was the guest in a way. Dante, once Beatrice goes up, well, they would have understood that he himself, Dante, with his journey, was allowed to go into Paradiso because of the job that he had to do. And after 700 years, honestly, one can believe that that was the case, because Dante is still very much alive and very much in our worldly sphere. Giuseppe Gibilisco, welcome. Sto leggendo canto 8 del Paradiso. Di fredda nube non disceser venti, o visibili o no, tanto festini che non paressero impediti e lenti, a chi avesse quei lumi divini veduti a noi venir, lasciando il giro prima cominciato in lì alti serafini. Gli alti serafini sono gli angeli, they are the angels. The angels were created alongside humans, but they were not given a body. So from there, we are a bit closer to God now. E dentro a quei che più innanzi appariro suonava Osanna, sì, che unque poi di riudir non fui senza disiro. So they were singing Osanna, glory to God. And that singing there in Dante's heart is one I would always love to hear that song. For example, when my mother went to in Montemura, there was a Madonna up in the mountains there, and when we used to go there as a child, I remember her singing. That singing there still reverberates in my brain. So this is what happened to Dante. As he goes up, this singing here was so beautiful that he held it within him. Indi si fece l'un più presso a noi e solo incominciò. So one of the souls then comes close to him and started. Tutti sempresti al tuo piacer, perché di noi ti gioi. We are here for you, Dante. We want you to, we are very happy for you to be here. Not like in Inferno, in the other canto in Inferno. This one here, they welcome Dante. Noi ci volgiamo coi principi celesti d'un giro e d'un girare e d'una sete, ai quali tu del mondo già dicesti, voi che intendendo il terzo cielo movete. E sem si pien d'amor che per piacerti non fia men dolce un poco di quiete. So he says, Martello says, listen, we here, I want to talk to you. And so I'm going to ask my friends here to stop singing so that we can have a bit of a chat. Isn't that beautiful? And then he says, we have a thirst to make you happy in whatever you want to know, basically. So, poscia che gli occhi miei si furono offerti alla mia donna reverenti, ed essa fatti li avea di sé contenti e certi, rivolsersi alla luce che promessa tanto s'avea, e de chi siete fue la voce mia di grande affetto impressa. So he turns towards Beatrice and says, and asks, what do you think? But she's so happy for him because he says, De chi siete? So Dante opens his mouth in Paradiso. These are the first words that he says, De chi siete? Who are you? Up to now, he hasn't said much. Picard, I'm not quite sure, can't remember now. But anyway, De chi siete fu la voce mia di grande affetto impressa. E quanto e quale vidio lei far più per allegrezza nuova che s'accrebbe quando parlai e l'allegrezza sua. So Beatrice became very happy to hear that Dante opened his mouth and was asking, who are you, to Martello. Così fatta, mi disse, il mondo m'ebbe, così fatta, mi disse, that was Carlo Martello, il mondo m'ebbe giù poco tempo, e se più fosse stato, molto sarà di mal che non sarebbe. If I hadn't died early, my dear Dante, because he was molto gentile verso di Dante in Paradiso. If I had not died, welcome to Antonio Danzi, if I had not died, oh dear Dante, I would have been very good towards you. But unfortunately, I died too young. So Carlo Martello died, he was 25. But he had been to Florence and he had, they had a political meeting about governing the fact, the way Italy was at the time with the Angioini down in the south, in Trinacria, in Sicily. That was the case. It says, the love, but after I died, things went really bad. And thanks to my father and my son, who were really quite bad in governing, in being generous towards the people they governed. Because the emperor or the king, they were direct line from God to do the right thing by the people. Così fatta, il mondo m'ebbe già poco tempo, e se più fosse stato, molto sarà di mal che non sarebbe. La mia letizia mi ti tien celato, che mi raggia d'intorno e mi nasconde quasi animal di sua sete fasciato. So, dear Dante, you can't see me, Carlo Martello says, because of the light that I have within. My face is not, you can't recognize me, but remember me. You do remember my voice, of course. It says, that's where I am at. Welcome to Giuseppe Saponara as well. Good. Assai m'amasti, avesti ben onde, che s'io fossi già stato, io ti mostrava di mio amor più oltre che la fronte. So when you lose someone who loves you, it's a great loss, because that person who loves you would leave you, would always be good towards you. Whereas when you lose them, then, you feel the absence of their love. Quella sinistra riva che si lava di Rodano, poi che misto consorga, per suo signore a tempo m'aspettava, e quel corno d'Ausonia che si imborga di Bari e di Gaete e di Catona, da ove tronto e verde in mare sgorga. So, quella riva sinistra, eccetera, eccetera, a suo tempo mi aspettavano come loro signore la Provenza, regione. So in other words, he had been made king, but he died. So all these areas that he's talking about is the current Puglia. In Puglia, Bari, Gaeta is on the other side of, on the Naples side. So all of that southern part of Italy would have belonged to this Carlo Martello, but unfortunately he died young, and therefore the governing of those places there fell to his father and his son, one after the other for some reason, and they stuffed it up, basically according to Carlo Martello. So that's why I said, you know, he wanted some sort of explanation there. But again, continue. Fulgeamo già in fronte alla corona di quella terra che il Danubio riga, poi che le ripe tedesche abbandona. So he was king of Hungary as well in the northern part of Europe, next to Germany. So he had come down. Those are the, you know, these people were given almost God-given status when they became kings or emperor. Unbelievable. The strength, their political and legal strength. We've moved a lot since then, I can tell you. E la bella trinacchia che caliga tra Pachino e Peloro sopra il golfo che riceve da Euro maggior briga, non per tifeo ma per nascente solfo, attesi avrebbe i suoi regi ancora, nati per me di Carlo e di Ridolfo, se male signoria che sempre accora, li popoli suggesti non avesse mosso Palermo a gridar Mora, Mora. This was the famous revolutions, rebellion by the Sicilians, i Vespri siciliani, contro gli Angioini, because they were being malgovernati by Carlo Martello's father and son, basically. So they rebelled. As a result of that, they lost, the Angioini lost those lands. And they fell into, I think, to France. Let me. Yeah, I think they went to the French after that, from the Angioini to the French. Again, these stories here is very complex. I can't do it in an hour. But what I'm trying to do is say, look, these are, you know, these are some of the notes, but there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. So please read Dante Alighieri, Inferno, Purgatorio e Paradiso, and you will. And they should be read when you get older, because you have more understanding of how the world works. And that's what I'm doing now. E se mio frate questo antivedesse, l'avara povertà di Catalogna già fuggeria perché non li offendesse. So Catalonia is in Spain, Catalonians. And because of that greed that they had, in other words, they took from the ordinary people, they didn't look after them, they then became expelled from those lands. And as a result of that, then Catalonia too became poor. La vera povertà di Catalogna già fuggeria perché non li offendesse, che veramente provveder bisogna per lui o per altrui, sicché a sua barca carcata più d'incarco non si pogna. So in other words, don't take away from the people like what we're doing at the moment. We're complaining with our state government and the federal, etc. Don't take so much. And the Reserve Bank, don't take so much from the people. Look after them, because they will revolt. So take it easy with your, you know, with your reasoning about the inflation, this and that. The people who are struggling here, and it's becoming very, very difficult for a big section of the population. Now, if you don't believe that, well, that's it. So that greed there will lead to poverty. So if you give too much to the people who already have, then and they will use it whichever way they want, then the ordinary people, they can't live properly. That's very bad governance. And that's why Dante Alighieri is still very much modern. Tra Dante e Machiavelli veramente abbiamo dei grandi in termini di politica da applicarsi ancora oggi. So here we go. La sua natura, che di larga parca discese, avria mestier di tal milizia che non curasse di mettere in arca. So I warn you. Però credo che l'alta letizia che il tuo parlar mi infonde, Signor mio, là ogni ben si termina e si inizia, per te si veggia come la veggio, gratami più e anche questo caro, perché il discermi rimirando in Dio. So Dante then replies, I'm not sure, I think that's him that's talking. So in other words, he says, look, I see, this is still Carlo Martello, by the way, I see that God has given me this understanding now of the way divine providence works. That's what he's saying to Dante. I want to thank God that, has given me this understanding now that I pass on to you. Fatto m'hai lieto e così mi fai chiaro, poiché parlando a dubitare m'hai mosso come essere può di dolce seme amaro. Questo io a lui ed egli a me, se io posso mostrarti un vero, a quel che tu dimandi terrai lo viso come tienlo d'osso. Lo ben che tutto il regno che tu scandi volge e contenta, fa essere virtute sua provvidenza in questi corpi grandi. E non pur le nature provvedute sono in la mente che da sé perfetta, ma esse insieme con la lor salute, perché quantunque quest'arco saetta disposto cade ha provveduto fine, siccome cose in suo segno diretta. Now this is pretty hard Italian, of course, so you've got to, with Dante, you need the notes, you need a lot of notes here. And then, once you finish reading the first time, then going back, it's like going through a jungle. You get, when you go around the second time, you'll be able to appreciate Dante even more. Because then, un po' alla volta, he's taught us to look at the mythology of the Greeks and the Romans, their beliefs in multiplicity of gods, and then, of course, the arrival of Jesus Christ, what happened way before that, what happened after the Roman Empire collapsed, and Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire, both in East and West, and then we get the Muslims coming on, so and the Crusades, and Charlemagne in France. So in other words, getting closer to the times when Dante actually lived. So this thing about providence was necessary because there was so much confusion politically. Not confusion, there was a lot of poverty at that time. And then also soon after, the Black Plague arrived. That's about 100 years, 50, 100 years later. 1/3 of Europe's population died through but this again, leads you into history. And at the moment, I am doing world history at the University of the Third Age, and also tomorrow I'll be starting my first Italian class at Tom's in Brunswick. I invite you to come and see me there, or contact me first before you do anything. Okay, so let's continue now with this. Se ciò non fosse il ciel che tu cammini, producerebbe sì i suoi effetti, che non sarebbero arti ma ruine. E ciò essere non può se gli intelletti che muovono queste stelle non son manchi, e manco il primo che non li ha perfetti. So, there you are. Vuoi tu che questo ver più ti s'imbianchi? E io, non già che è impossibile veggio che la natura in quel che uopo stanchi, ond'egli ancora, ordì sarebbe il peggio per l'uomo in terra se non fosse cive, if, chaos would reign if humanity did not become more civilized. Each citizen is important. Each person has to do the right thing in order for the whole to live well. So in other words, that's the providence, using your own innate abilities and put them to good use. Don't try to do things that are not natural to you. So that's why when we teach too, I always believed that each child had the right to develop their own personalities. So when there is too strong a discipline, what happens is that you direct the individual to a particular way, and that's not always good. Not always good. But again, who am I to say? E poterli essere se giù non si vive diversamente per diversi uffici. So don't try to be who you are not. Non so, e il maestro vostro ben vi scrive. Si venne deducendo infine a quici poscia conchiuse, and this way Carlo Martello concludes. Dunque, essere diverse conviene di vostri effetti le radici. So the diverse roots of each individual vi conviene di accettarli. Be happy when someone else sees things differently from you. Do it in peace and cooperation and harmony and all that. Dunque essere diversi conviene di vostri effetti le radici, per cui nasce solone e altro serse. One vive in questo modo, è nato in questo modo, e l'altro in quell'altro. Solone e serso, again, these are mythological people. Here we are. Solone, famoso legislatore ateniese del VI secolo a.C., e Serse, imperatore persiano e qui simbolo delle attitudini militari. E poi Melchisedec, primo sacerdote degli ebrei, e qui simbolo delle attitudini sacerdotali. So Dante is looking at the effects of various sections of how people are governed. Per cui nasce Solone, altro Serse, altro Melchisedec e altro quello che volando per l'aere il figlio perse. And this a reference to Icarus. Icarus, he wanted to fly. He was the first person before Leonardo da Vinci who could fly. This is from mythology. And he built his wings of cera. Oh, geez. What is it called? His wings. Anyway, he built his wings, and then he and his son flew towards the sun. And of course, la cera, si è squagliata. And the son died as a result. He fell. So I wanted him to fly, but it wasn't to be. La circular natura che suggella alla cera mortal fa ben sua arte, ma non distingue l'un dall'altro stello. Quinci addiviene che Sau si diparte, quinci perciò accade che Sau si differenzi fin dal concepimento dal fratello Giacobbe e Romolo, quindi nasca da un padre così mediocre che se ne attribuisce la paternità a Marte. So here again, the way Romulus and Remus came to be, and Romulus killed his brother, but where did Romulus come from? And the other one was Esau. Again, you really have to read this, all the notes here, and more importantly, I'm not sure about the actual Canto 8 itself, because there is so much there that is discussed, is brought in his racconto dal Paradiso. So this Carlo Martello, unlike the others, he still he sort of puts a judgment on the way he sort of died and the way he lived. Quindi addiviene che Esaù si diparte per seme e da Giacobbe vien Quirino da sì vil padre che si rende a Marte. Natura generata il suo cammino, simil farebbe sempre a generanti se non vincesse il provveder divino. So, il provveder divino, la provvidenza divina is the winner in all this. Or quel che t'era dietro te davanti, ma perché sappi che di te mi giova, un corollario voglio che tu che t'ammanti. Sempre natura, se fortuna trova, discorda a sé, come ogni altra semente, fuori di sua region fa male prova. E se il mondo laggiù ponesse mente, al fondamento che natura pone, seguendo lui avria buona la gente, ma voi torcete alla religione. Tal che fia nato a cignersi la spada e fate re di tal che dà sermone, onde la traccia vostra è fuori di strada. So Carlo Martello says, by not adhering to God's providence, in other words, to reading the gifts that these diverse natures of humans have been given by God. If you don't appreciate the diversity, then you lose. But it says here, onde la traccia vostra è fuori di strada. You're outside, you go outside of what God wants from you. What does God want from us? He wants us to go back to Him. But we have free will. Therefore, He says, if you do the right thing, you can come over. If you do the wrong thing, I'll send you to those angels down there that I sent because they didn't obey me at all. And, they were thrown out of paradise. So they'll accept you in inferno. But if you forgive, if you ask for forgiveness, etc., then you get punished, of course. You make amends, and then you come through. And if you believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God, then you're doing the utmost for yourself, because by following what He says, you're following what I say to you. In other words, be good to all humans. The Sermon on the Mount. Excuse me. Too much talking. Mon Dieu. Well, that was it. E fate re di tal che dà sermone, onde la traccia vostra è fuori di strada. Interesting. I have to come back to the notes here because there's a lot of history hidden in these lines, and I'm happy that I've done number 8. We'll see the next one. I wrote here the vari cieli. So I think Veneto only given one, cielo di Venere, that's only one small area, la Provvidenza. And then there is il cielo del Sole, which occupies canti 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 canti are dedicated in the cielo del Sole, which is a big one, because that gets closer to God's imperial, the last bit. So that's that. Now, I promised you that I would read something from the Italian literary figures, and I haven't done it in the last few canti, but whilst I was away, I listened to what I said, and I checked the promises that I'd made. One of the promises was I will do the literary part, and I'll also do my own poetry. So this time here I've selected this particular sonetto, numero 7, dal canzoniere di Francesco Petrarca, which, by the way, I am reading at the moment. I'm doing his life story in the Italian classes online. So that'll be on next Friday. Well, yes, next Friday. Ok, this is the sonetto dal canzoniere di Francesco Petrarca. La gola e il sonno e le ziose piume hanno del mondo ogni virtù sbandita, ond'è dal corso suo quasi smarrita nostra natura vinta dal costume. Ed è sì spento ogni benigno lume del ciel per cui si informa umana vita, che per cosa mirabile s'addita chi vuol far dell'icona nascer fiume. Qual vaghezza di lauro, qual di mirto, povera e nuda vai filosofia, dice la turba al vil guadagno intesa, pochi compagni avrai per l'altra via, tanto ti prego più, gentile spirito, non lasciar la magnanima tua impresa. It follows on Dante here. He's saying, don't forget to, la magnanima tua impresa. That's our life should be given to magnanima impresa. So their living should be of good to the world, to our fellow humans. I like that one. And now I will also read you I sentimenti alla natura. This is part from my book, Amica Poesia number 2. I don't have many copies of this, so it's only available really online in TomPadulaTV.blogspot.com in the poetry section. That's number 2. Amica Poesia 2. I sentimenti e la salute. This is an actual piece of writing which I probably did about 40 years ago, long time ago. La vita umana è caratterizzata dai sentimenti che ogni persona sente. Ci sono i sentimenti del cuore, della mente e della ragione. Ci sono anche quei sentimenti che sono generati dalle nostre opinioni. Troviamo che i sentimenti di una persona, circa tutta una varietà di sensazioni, determinerà il tipo di vita che eventualmente viviamo. Essere consci dei propri sentimenti è molto importante. Più importantemente è capire che i tipi di sentimenti che teniamo dentro possono avere un grandissimo impatto su noi stessi e su tutti coloro che ci sono vicini. Sentimenti di amore, cura, bontà, genuina carità, sincerità, onestà, simpatia possono portarci tanta felicità tramite la cooperazione con gli altri, dalla generosità di spirito che noi dimostriamo in tempi di difficoltà o normale vita quotidiana. Sentimenti di antipatia, malevolenza, vendetta portano a litigi, lotte, guerre. I sentimenti sono presenti anche dentro ai vari stati di colpa, cattivi temperamenti, inclinazioni alla violenza. Questi possono essere molto distruttivi per una persona individuale o essere il risultato di situazioni molto precarie ed aggressive. Attenti ai sentimenti sono le basi della nostra comunione con noi stessi e con gli altri. I think that's a beautiful piece of writing, even if I may say so. It relates to our sentiments and to keep them genuine, because it's very important. And now, of course, I will go to the songs, but before I do that, I've got to go back into the computer, because that's how it is. Come on. Yes, I've done. The only problem I have here is that when I go on, I have to do what I have to do first to ensure that you get the maximum benefit from this. So let me have a look. Yes, I have to go out and then come in. So it'll take me a little while to do that, okay? Here we are, come on. Yes. It's all iCloud, you know, fantastic system, honestly. It helps a lot, but again, you have to know what you have to know. Otherwise, you can't do it. It takes me a little while, but I'm getting better from earlier on in the year. It takes a long time in order to conquer these things. And now, let me see, another minute, I'd say, and we'll be on to it. It's 10 o'clock, I've got 10 minutes, which is good. I've just done it very well. Nicely done. Nicely done, Tom Padula. Okay, let's me have a look. Yes, 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 yes. Another bit. Yes, almost there. Let's have a look. Unbelievable. No, that's there. I'm going to go a bit further down. Yes, 24. This is from the 24th of August. You have to be organised, Mr. Tompadula. Otherwise, all this can't work. Here we are. Right. Okay. Now, this should work. Oop. This should work. Here we go. Okay. That's 24th of August. Another one. And now, here we go. I see Dora and Reno every couple of weeks. In the meantime, I go on online, because I put what we do for people to enjoy, and it's going quite well. I think some of the songs are coming out okay, and we keep going. Of course, these are all the songs we do in Coral Improviso are not repeated. So far, we are in Coral Improviso number 13, and there are 12 songs per program. So it's not bad, is it? That's not bad at all. Yeah. So today we're going to start with a song by Nada called Pa Diglio Amma. Una bella canzone veramente. E quindi, but we know Nada famous for Ma che freddo fa, but there are other songs of each singer, and this week, unfortunately, Paradise is gaining a great Italian singer, Totò Cutugno, known for l'Italiano, and also so many other singers and songs, and also he was, part of a very important group of Italian singers who sold millions and millions of copies of their work worldwide. So, Totò Cutugno, we respect you, and I'm sure you will be remembered for a long time, because your work is very special. Of course. Okay, so, but so now let's go back to us. Remembering that, yeah. We remember. So we dedicate today maybe to Totò Cutugno, if he allows us, because but I'm not going to do the songs, Totò Cutugno songs today, because I have to organise them for the future. Okay. So that was remembering Totò Cutugno, and now Reno and Dora, Pa Diglio Amma. Ok, cominciamo, vero? I giorni miei sono tutti uguali, come granelli di un rosario. Io sono stanca di pregare, giorni di festa non ne ho. Non voglio perdere il ragazzo che mi vuol bene da morire. Il bene e il male so capire, che lui stanotte partirò. Pa, digli alla mamma che la porta del cuore, che non la scorderò. M'han detto che tu alla stessa mia età impazzivi per me. Perdonami pa, adesso mai più. L'amore è così, la vita è così. Si farà vivo il mio ragazzo, son certa che vi piacerà. È un uomo vero e da coraggio e sa che anch'io l'aiuterò. C'è un velo bianco che mi aspetta, che posso chiedere di più. Il dolce sogno di ogni notte per me diventa verità. Digli alla mamma che la porto nel cuore, che non la scorderò. M'han detto che tu alla stessa mia età impazzivi per me. Perdonami pa, adesso mai più. L'amore è così, la vita è così. La rosa sboccia in una notte, solo una volta e poi mai più. La vita mia comincia adesso, la primavera aspetta me. Digli alla mamma che la porto nel cuore, che non la scorderò. M'han detto che tu alla stessa mia età impazzivi per me. Perdonami pa, adesso mai più. L'amore è così, la vita è così. Well, we got to the next one now. Let's. Orietta Berti will give us the second song for the afternoon, and it's called Tipi Tipi Ti, a famous one that Dora knows as well, and but we're going to do it our version. Trio Lugano numero 2 version. Okay. Dora, we're ready with Tipi Tipi Ti. Ok, let's start. Quando tu mi venivi a cercare ti aprivo la porta, mi dicevi se tu sei contenta ti porto in città. Ogni volta ti ho detto di sì e venivo a ballare con te. Mi ricordo che allora l'orchestra suonava così. Tipi 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 dove vai? Tipi 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 cosa fai? Tipi 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 come mai sei innamorata di lui? E c'era l'uomo dell'organino che ci dava un biglietto blu. C'era scritto ti vuole bene, ma non era la verità. Tipi 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 dove vai? Tipi 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 dove ti sei? Tipi 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 come mai? Lui questa sera non c'è. Come mai questa sera, maestro, tu sbagli le note? Con la gente che c'è, ma perché guardi me? Oramai l'hai capito anche tu, che l'amore per me non c'è più. Ma vorrei che l'orchestra suonasse per sempre così. Tipi 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 dove vai? Tipi 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 come mai sei innamorata di lui? E c'era l'uomo dell'organino che ci dava un biglietto blu. C'era scritto ti vuole bene, ma non era la verità. Tipi 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 dove vai? Tipi 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 cosa fai? Tipi 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 come mai tu stai piangendo con me? Now, I use these songs for teaching, and it's wonderful to be able to do this, and doing the lyrics makes you appreciate the songs a lot more. So let's go back to the last song, and we're moving towards the end of the program. Here we are. even though this next song is called La Pioggia by Giuliola Cinquetti, made famous by her, Dora says, non è nel repertorio mio, but she's trying very hard to put in some music to go with this, because we can't beat Giuliola Cinquetti, we can only beat Trio Logano #2. And Rino and I try our best, okay? But we want you to also try your best, because this is a beautiful song, really and truly. La Pioggia. Siamo pronti, eh? La pioggia.
La pioggia, vai.
Sul giornale ho letto che il tempo cambierà, le nuvole sono nere in cielo e che i passeri lassù non voleranno più, chissà perché. Io non cambio mai, no, non cambio mai. Può cadere il mondo, ma che importa a me? La pioggia non bagna il nostro amore quando il cielo è blu. La pioggia non esiste se mi guardi tu. Butta via l'ombrello, amor, che non serve più, se ci sei tu. Dora. Il termometro va giù, il sole se ne va, l'inverno fa paura a tutti, ma c'è un fuoco dentro me che non si spegnerà, lo sai perché? Io non cambio mai, no, non cambio mai. Può cadere il mondo, ma che importa a me? La pioggia non bagna il nostro amore quando il cielo è blu. La pioggia non esiste se mi guardi tu. Butta via l'ombrello, amor, che non serve più. La pioggia non esiste se mi guardi tu. Butta via l'ombrello, amor, che non serve più. La pioggia non bagna il nostro amore quando il cielo è blu. Il cielo è blu. Well, luck, it's not raining outside. Look, the lyrics of these songs are beautiful. They can be used in schools for teaching Italian. You pick out the words out of them, the adjectives, the verbs, and create your own sentences. That's the way to do it. I want to thank those people who've come on today. It's been an interesting hour, late in the evening this time. And as I said, I can't give a precise time, but I will come on each week and continue along the same lines. And I really want to finish Dante Alighieri's Divina Commedia. It's been a big job, and of course the last canti is always the greatest challenge. Okay, on that note, grazie mille per la vostra partecipazione e per gli altri che poi seguiranno questi programmi. Adesso finisco e andrà sulla mia pagina. I'll be going on my page, Facebook page. So until next Sunday, or the Sunday after, because I won't be here next Sunday, I'm going for cherries. Oh well, it's cherry time. This is Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. Buonanotte.